You're listening to the Weekend Sport Podcast with Jason Pine from News Talk ZB.
Before this podcast kicks off, let's talk about Girlz. The Greatest Goal is a native tree crowdfunding campaign, leaving a legacy for Aotearoa New Zealand as co-hosts of the FIFA Women's World Cup 2023. Visit treesthatcount.co.nz to donate a native tree for a brighter future.
Football Fever with News Talk ZB's voice of football, Jason Pine and Bonnie Jansen with Trees That Count. Donate a native tree and help us score the greatest goal.
Yeah, welcome into Football Fever, your daily World Cup podcast with Trees That Count. I'm Jason Pine. New Zealand Herald football writer Bonnie Jansen is here too. Just when you think this tournament has nothing left to give you, it gives you a little bit more. In fact, quite a lot more. What about last night's action, Bonnie? How are you?
Oh, hello. Just amazing. I mean, we were talking and we just want the World Cup to keep going on forever. It's these kind of games that we live for, and it was very, very exciting night.
Incredible scenes on a very cold night in Wellington, braved by 15,000 fans, rewarded with one of the games of the tournament. South Africa 3, Italy 2, South Africa claiming their first Women's World Cup win and taking them through to the last 16. Incredible drama. How do you even start to sum up what happened in Wellington last night?
Oh, I mean, it's just incredible to see this complete underdog side fight right till the end, and equally for Italy as well. They were fighting, and these are the football matches you love. You know, a lot of goals and could have gone either way. And yeah, good on South Africa, because that's huge for their nation.
The other thing you get in games like this is absolute emotion, right? I mean, for South Africa's players, for the country, for the football fraternity there, you could just tell, couldn't you, afterwards, how much it meant to them. And the winner was scored by Tembi Katlana. Over the last 2 weeks, she's lost 3 family members, but chose to stay with the team instead of going home to be with her family. It's, the emotion that's wrapped around this is just, it's incredible, isn't it?
It is. And even before the matches last night and the night before and the night before that, in when singing the anthem before the matches even started, there's so many tears and emotions, and you can see how much it means to these players just to be in that position. And yeah, I mean, it's amazing for South Africa, and as I said before, it's going to change the sport in their country for sure.
Yeah, and I think yesterday you said, I'm not sure whether you said you were picking South Africa or you wanted them to win. I think we both kind of wanted it because it meant a fairer spread or a better spread across the confederations. We've got Nigeria there now and South Africa, so 2 African sides. Morocco could join them tonight, although it might take a bit more magic for that to happen. But Italy, this football mad nation only needed to draw. They were 1-0 ahead, then 2-1 down, then levelled it up at 2-2 with 15 to go. Then that winner in the 92nd minute. So Italy go home despite having 62% possession in this game. They made the quarterfinals 4 years ago. I mean, someone said to me this morning, in the Men's World Cup, South Africa could never knock Italy out. But in the Women's World Cup, this is the sort of thing that happens.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't take anything away from the women's game. It's just there's far more upsets, and the gap is closing. The USA was saying it right from the start of the tournament, is they're not going to be the front runners anymore. There's so many good teams now, and it's just amazing. But I think a rule for this tournament that we have to consider is possession doesn't count for anything. There's been so many teams that have dominated possession but haven't pulled off the result they want, like New Zealand against the Philippines. So yeah, I think disregarding all the stats, anything can happen.
Yeah, what did we see the other night? Was it Japan against Spain? Japan had 23% possession or something and won at 4-0. I mean, it's incredible, isn't it?
Exactly.
As you say, it's got to be meaningful possession, which actually leads to something. So South Africa go through. They'll meet the Netherlands in Sydney on Sunday afternoon at 2. In Hamilton last night, in the other game in this group, Sweden 2, Argentina 0. First place in the group was essentially guaranteed for Sweden, thanks to a vastly superior goal difference. They made 9 changes, so lacked a bit of cohesion, bit of a dour game. Both goals in the last quarter of the game. But it's a third win for Sweden. So 3 from 3, they, Japan and England, are the only teams with 100% records in pool play. Sweden against the United States in Melbourne on Sunday night at 9. Who would have thought that this is going to be a round of 16 match?
Honestly, that's huge and could go either way. You're picking Sweden, obviously. That's your pick for the tournament, and my pick for the tournament was USA. So we're meeting in the round of 16, Piney.
Yeah, lock it in, 9 o'clock on Sunday night. Going to be a cracker.
Football Fever with Jason Pine and Bonnie Jansen with Trees That Count. Donate a native tree and help us score the greatest goal.
And if we thought the drama was over after the early games, it was not. The late games last night were in Group F. Massive upset, if you can call a 0-0 draw an upset in Melbourne. Jamaica 0, Brazil 0. Brazil are 8th in the world. Jamaica are 43rd. Brazil eliminated. They failed to progress from group play for the first time in 28 years. It was only 10 days ago, Bonnie. They put 4 past Panama and everyone said, wow, look at Brazil.
Exactly. And again, another one on possession, 73% possession to the Jamaica's 27. It doesn't mean anything, does it? 18 shots on goal, 8 on target, doesn't mean anything.
Defensive masterclass for Jamaica. They haven't conceded a goal in 3 games. They've only scored 1 themselves. You look at the table and you see the stat line of theirs. Scored 1 in 3 games, conceded none in 3 games. Only Japan and Switzerland can match, not conceding a goal. Jamaica just did what had to be done. It's again, Jamaica have knocked out Brazil. South Africa have knocked out Italy. It's just the football world's turned on its head.
It has, and that's what these tournaments are for, all these kind of upsets, and maybe we didn't expect to see them this early in the tournament, but we have, and it's really cool to see these nations that are so low ranked cause these upsets.
Yeah.
Although we are sad for Brazil, obviously, and Marta, who is arguably the legend of the women's game, that was her final match.
Yeah, bows out as the greatest scorer in the tournament's history, 17 goals in 6 World Cups. Didn't score at this one, though. Overall, 122 goals in 189 matches for Brazil. She's 37 now. Is that it for her? Has she retired? She won't make the next World Cup, but has she retired? Do we know? Might she carry on?
No, she still plays in the NWSL. So I think we'll still see a bit of her, but not at the international level, no.
All right, so Jamaica go through at the expense of Brazil. Incredible scenes in Melbourne last night.
While this podcast takes a halftime break, let's talk about The Greatest Goal, a crowdfunding campaign leaving a legacy for Aotearoa New Zealand as co-hosts of the FIFA Women's World Cup 2023 by asking fans to donate a native tree. Each native tree costs just $10, and whether you donate one or many, you'll be contributing to amazing restoration projects across Aotearoa. Visit treesthatcount.co.nz to donate a native tree and help us score the greatest goal. Looks like we're ready to kick off the second half.
The Football Fever Podcast with Jason Pine and Bonnie Jansen with Trees That Count. Donate a native tree and help us score the greatest goal.
So while Jamaica and Brazil were playing at a 0-0 draw last night, in Sydney, an absolute goal fest. It was the opposite. Panama 3, France 6, highest scoring game of the World Cup. I was glued into the start of Jamaica against Brazil, and then Bonnie messaged me and said, have you seen that goal from Panama? And so I was trying to double screen. I didn't know where to look. What a goal.
Yeah, it was amazing. I was also tuned into the other game, but when I saw Panama scored so early, I quickly changed the channel to just rewatch the goal, and blown away. Like, that was so far out. It's just amazing.
And the whip she gets on it, there's a couple of angles, from crowd, people have taken a shot in the crowd. And the whip on it, it's right in the top corner. If you haven't seen this goal, just Google Marta Cox, and you'll see one of, if not the goal of the tournament. It was only in the second minute as well. So, all of a sudden you thought, is there an upset coming here? But then France kind of took over, didn't they? But you'll never take that away from Marta Cox.
No, and I mean, they went on to score 2 more goals after that, and that's a huge win in itself for Panama, like scoring 3 goals against one of the world's best team is pretty cool, and certainly a great way to end your tournament. And France were always winning this match, and I mean, it wasn't really too competitive for them, despite conceding those 3 goals. But yeah, awesome work from Panama and that goal. Yeah, just blowing away. It didn't even look like a fluke, It was class.
Absolute class. It was a terrific strike. And as you say, a great way for them to go home. For France, Kadi Diani, the hat-trick. I see they were her first 3 World Cup goals. Going back to the last tournaments in 2019 and including this one, she had 24 shots without scoring any, and then she got a hat-trick last night. So, I guess, if at first you don't succeed, just keep on trying. And Kadi Diani with the hat-trick. So France now wait for the runner-up of Group H. Jamaica will play the winner of Group H, and that is tonight's action. I can't believe I'm saying this. The final 2 group games of the tournament, Bonnie. South Korea, Germany in Brisbane from 10. Morocco, Colombia in Perth from 10. I guess the sad thing is that we won't be able to talk about any more group games after today.
I know, I was counting the matches last night, and we're over halfway in terms of matches, which is pretty sad. And then from tomorrow, or from tonight, they don't happen every day. Tomorrow we don't have any games. So that's sad. But then at the same time, it's this point in the competition when it gets really exciting. The games are more exciting, and knowing that everything is on the line. But it'll be interesting tonight to see. It looks like Colombia will be in. I don't think they cannot be in.
Draws enough for them against Morocco tonight. Morocco need to win and hope Germany don't beat South Korea. Germany go through with a win. Korea are almost certainly going home. I think Korea have to win by 5 or more goals, and they haven't scored any in the first 2 games, so that seems very unlikely from them. So yeah, I think we're talking Germany and Colombia going through here, aren't we? But then, having said that, Bonnie, we've been wrong about this tournament a number of times, haven't we?
I'd like to see Morocco at this point.
Go on.
Give us another African team. It's amazing. But yeah, I mean, Germany will probably sail through that match, and yeah.
Yeah, you'd think so. So then the winner of this group, as I say, plays Jamaica. The runner-up of this group plays France. And then we will have our locked-in round of 16. All right, Bonnie. Well, just the 2 games tonight. So we don't have the early game. Somehow got to get through to 10 o'clock tonight before we can watch any football. But, it just... Look, I think the World Cup has shown us just the range of emotion, favourites being knocked out, underdogs finding their way through. It's kind of everything you want about the World Cup. It would be... while it might be predictable, it would be a bit tedious if all the favourites from all the groups had gone through.
Yeah, exactly. And like I said earlier, it's huge for these nations, and it's just going to grow the game even more incredibly to have these kind of upsets. And even though we like our favourites, and I would like to see the states go far into the tournament, it's not the case anymore, and the women's game is just growing so much that we can have these really highly competitive matches, which is awesome. We haven't had, we had, some 5-0 wins and things like that, but we haven't had a 13-0 win like we had last World Cup. So it's really, really positive that we're seeing some good competition.
Indeed. All right, to recap, South Africa and Sweden go through last night from Group G. Jamaica and France go through from Group F. Thanks as always, Bonnie. Enjoy your day. We'll talk again tomorrow, presumably.
Yep, looking forward to it.
Me too. A new or fresh episode of Football Fever will drop into your podcast feed at around about the same time tomorrow. Have an excellent day.
In this post-match review, let's score the greatest goal by donating a native tree to leave a legacy for Aotearoa New Zealand as co-hosts of the FIFA Women's World Cup 2023. Visit treesthatcount.co.nz to donate a native tree for a brighter future.
Football Fever with Jason Pine and Bonnie Jansen with Trees That Count. Donate a native tree and help us score the greatest goal. For more from Weekend Sport with Jason Pine, listen live to News Talk ZB weekends from midday or follow the podcast on iHeartRadio.